America has a problem.
Welcome in. You are checking out RSVP with Jill Munroe live on KBLA Talk 1580. It is day 2. Thank you for checking in, rocking out with us. I am so excited to be here tonight. And, today is the first day of summer, the summer solstice, and that makes me happy. Summer is my very, very, very favorite time of the year. Why? Because it's hot, because the days are a little longer and the nights are shorter. I think that was a ludicrous line or somebody's rap line. Anyway, and it's a good time. So it is a perfect time to get us kicked off in the land of RSVP. So let me get you ready for all the trending topics that we're going to dive into tonight. So first up, like I mentioned, today is the first day of summer. So we're going to start off with our good question of the day. So being that it's summer, that means music, barbecue, all of that. So I want to know from you, right? What song feels like summer? Like you put it on, you immediately go to that place where the sky is clear, blue, 80 degrees, and you are just vibing. I want to know what song is that for you. And I have a little bit of nostalgia to share. So on June 20th, 1988, 2 of the Culture's top albums dropped, going head to head, battling each other out. They are label mates, the 2 groups. So we are going to talk about that and get into a little bit about what this anniversary means as far as the culture, because it is still Black Music Month. We still have a couple of more days from that. We're going to talk about Netflix, and they're going to be picking up one of our favorite shows, one of our favorite HBO shows. Now, this is unheard of. It is kind of something new happening, and I want to know your thoughts about it. And also, my guest for tonight's thoughts about it. We do have a guest tonight. She will be coming up when we come forward. Her name is Giandra LaBeouf. She is a TV and film critic, producer, boxing host, and producer. We're going to talk to her all about her career, some new releases. There's a fight coming up next month between Crawford and Spence, a huge fight. She has a lot of information about that, so we're going to talk to her about that. We are also going to talk about, if you listened to last night's show, we talked a little bit about the Louis Vuitton fashion show. It was Pharrell's debut as the creative director, and it was star-studded. Everyone was there in the house, including, I guess Beyonce and Jay-Z are American royalty. If we had it, something like that. If we had it, they would be as close as I can imagine we'd get. So Beyonce and Jay-Z were there. And, the cameras caught Beyonce saying something interesting. We're going to talk about that when we come forward. And there is another story that is bubbling around on social media currently. It's about Q-Tip, the rapper Q-Tip. He was trying to get that old thing back. He was looking for his high school love, and trying to connect with her. They did kind of connect on social media, but as far as that's concerned, I want to know from you, we're going to talk about, would you want your old work looking you up on the internet randomly 20 plus years later, shouting you out, throwing out old pictures, having no idea where you are in life? We're going to talk a little bit about that. Also, of course, because I'm a sports girl, we got to talk a little bit about some sports stories. So we're going to talk about, there's a trade that just went down a few minutes ago. It involves the Boston Celtics and the Washington Wizards. We're going to get into some of that. We're going to get into Michael Jordan's sell of the Charlotte Hornets and what that means for him and his bottom line, and a couple of other stories. So, while you were relaxing, taking your time out to get ready for 3 hours of an audio experience that you're probably not ready for, but you're going to get ready. Make sure that you are following us on all of our socials. That's KBLA 1580. Hit that follow. If you are on the go, make sure you're downloading the app. You can download the app. from our website, and we have a live stream on YouTube. You can see me live and in person, see what I look like, see what the vibes are, check them out. You can leave comments because the YouTube chat is lit, so make sure you are doing that, following us. And you can also follow me everywhere at Stiletto Jill. Talk to me, I talk back. So we're going to get into all of those stories when we come forward. We're going to meet Giandra LaBeouf and talk to her about her career. KBLA Talk 1580.
Infusing a sense of fun and entertainment in every episode. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
The pandemic may be over, but many Angelenos could be at risk of losing the place they call home. It's important to know your rights as a residential renter in the city of LA. Did you know eviction protection still exists for unpaid COVID-19 rental debt that was due before March 31st, 2023? And that you have 5 days to respond to an eviction notice, also known as an unlawful detainer. Learn more about your rental rights at housing.lacity.org. Be informed, be protected, be at home.
I switched to Boost Mobile and got a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone. Want to know the best part?
It was free?
Nope.
The fact that it's on America's largest 5G networks?
Nope. It's the ding.
Oh yeah, love the ding.
Right? It's all about the ding. It's the dingarooski, the dingaroner, the ring-a-ding-ding.
Unleash your power to save with Boost. Get a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone when you switch. Boost Mobile. Unleash your power.
And the ding.
Limited time offer. New customers only. Available on select networks. 5G not available everywhere. One device per line. Tax excluded. Additional restrictions apply. See your local Boost Mobile store for details.
Meet Joe A,
Hi.
Joe B,
Hello.
and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect. Support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase. Make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for education as a right, not a privilege. Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science is a private, non-profit, community-founded, student-centered university committed to cultivating diverse health profession leaders who are dedicated to social justice and health equity for underserved populations. CDU does this through outstanding education, clinical service, and community engagement. Recently, Charles Drew University made history by opening only the 5th medical school at an historically black university. Congratulations, South LA, and congratulations to the Dean of the medical school, Dr. Deborah Protho-Stith. CDU is now training doctors and providing $90 million in annual economic benefit to Watts and surrounding neighborhoods. To apply for medical school, get more information, or sign your child up for the Junior Doctors Saturday School program, visit cdrewu.edu. That's cdrewu.edu. At KBLA, we are dedicated to equity in education and ending healthcare apartheid. And we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, it's Jill Munroe. We are live here on RSVP with Jill Munroe. And I am excited because, like I said, for my good question of the day, it is Black Music Month. Today is the anniversary of 2 album releases. These 2 albums came out in 1998, and they were impactful for me in my youth. I don't know about you guys. I think that you'll agree once I tell you what they are. They are New Edition's Any Heartbreak and Bobby Brown's Don't Be Cruel. Yes, those albums came out same day, same year, same time, same label, MCA. What kind of battle was that? That reminds me of like when 50 Cent and Kanye had the battle to come out the same day. I don't know who won this battle, but we know that we all, as fans, won that battle. So, I want you to take a moment, if you can, and think about Bobby and Don't Be Cruel in that era. Did we ever find out who Jackie was? Not really sure. That was important to me as a kid because, she was Bobby's girl. Anyway, you can hit up the power lines if you want to talk to me, share what your song of the summer is. Let us know what you think about the show thus far. 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. So before we get into the rest of the topics, I have to introduce my guest for the night. We have Giandra LaBeouf joining us. Giandra is a TV and film critic, red carpet host. She's at all the hottest events, carpets, talking to your favorite celebrities and entertainers. She is also the producer of a boxing show. We're going to talk all about that because she is very knowledgeable about the sport, and that is her thing. Next month, July 29th, Spence versus Crawford is coming up, and that is an impactful fight, 2 black men fighting. And we're going to find out from her why that is so significant. Giandra, welcome to RSVP with Jill Munroe.
I'm very excited to be here. Thank you for having me. Hello, everybody who is tuning in. This is going to be a fun ride.
It really is. So, starting off, why don't you talk to us a little bit about how you got your start in entertainment? Because you didn't take the conventional route,
Right.
And now you are talking to everyone. As a matter of fact, shout out to Mr. Leonard Ellerby for retweeting your appearance on our show tonight. We appreciate it. Thank you for that.
Thank you. But yeah, I think it all boils down to, I just like to talk to people a whole lot. And I admit many years in HR, worked as a bartender, and the common thread and other things that I've done, I just like talking to people. And I kind of stumbled into the red carpet thing, doing somebody a favor, just being a warm body. And once I got there, I'm like, this is kind of fun. I like to talk to people, so let me talk to some people, and then I never left.
Okay. So tell me, what has been what was the learning curve for you in getting up to speed and getting into the whole journalistic situation of it, learning to ask questions? You sometimes shoot yourself, which is amazing, right?
Thank you.
So talk to me a little bit about how someone that didn't come up in the conventional sense of journalism has managed to come this far.
I think what it boiled down to was just having a natural curiosity about people. And really, I'm really intrigued by people, their process, no matter what they did. So I tried to bring some of that to the carpet as well, some of that HR, and trying to ask people things to get them to talk to me, because part of HR was working in investigations, and you want people to be honest with you. And so trying to bring that skill set over there, I learned that my listening skills were more effective than my talking skills. But it all depends on what type of story you want to convey to the audience. But I like to ask the question that's going to make them talk to me, because then they warm up and they tell you everything you want to know. And then next thing you know, you're having a fun interview.
So what has been thus far your favorite interview that you've had?
Ooh, I've had a lot of really fun interviews on the carpet. I've had a lot of fun with the younger talent. Are usually fun. They love to do, they like to talk, they like to perform. I've had In Vogue sing for me on the carpet, kind of unprovoked.
What did they sing?
They were singing the Never Gonna Get It. Let me not break this mic in here trying to sing like that. I've had them sing for me on the carpet. I've had fun with Henry Cavill, who we know is Superman, who's on The Witcher. I've had a really good time with him. I've had a lot of fun. Nico Anand, who's on P-Valley. He's a fun interview of mine.
Clifford.
Shout out to Uncle Clifford. And there's just been a lot of really fun interviews on the boxing side. I've had some fun with Errol Spence, who we're going to talk about. And, there's so many talented people out there. And once you get deep into their story, you really, really get some insight into people.
Okay, I love that. So I didn't ask you our good question of the day. What song makes you feel like summer?
Ooh, I would say either Marvin Gaye, Makes Me Want to Holler. For some reason, that brings it back on the old school side. My dad used to like to play that in the summer. For myself, you can't go wrong with Will Smith and DJ Jazzy Jeff with Summertime.
A classic.
And the Isleys. Anything that makes me want to barbecue is going to bring the summer out in me.
I didn't share mine.
What's yours?
Mine is anything from A. Marie's first album. Why Don't We Fall in Love? Instantly feels like a warm summer day, spring, like you want to be in love, you want to go skipping around the block. That is the vibe. So I feel that. Okay, so back to these topics. It is a good one, right? So I thought that this was pretty interesting, and I'm springing it on you. I didn't share it with you earlier, but
that's okay.
Netflix picking up an HBO show. You know, most of the streamers have locked in and they've developed their own sort of production situations, and they're not sharing content. They were initially at first, like All American is a show that became popular because of its run on Netflix,
Right.
and then some things happened and so forth. So but HBO has been notorious for not getting involved in that. They want to keep all of their IP, i.e. their titles, to themselves. So can you guess what is likely to be the first show that's going to head to Netflix? They're in negotiations right now.
And it was originally an HBO show?
It was originally an HBO show.
It's got to be like something like Game of Thrones or The Wire. Those are my two guesses.
I would love to see The Wire. Both of those are wrong, but you were close. But listen, The Wire is right vibe. But think about the area that we are currently in. I'm giving you all of these hints.
Here in like Lamert, like where we are right.
Yeah.
And it's coming to Netflix?
Yeah. And it was an original HBO show.
I don't know.
Insecure.
Come on, Issa Rae, get
Come
your
on, Issa Rae, get
coins.
things going. So Insecure right
Wow.
now. They're in conversation, you know. Insider wise, that is kind of a big deal. So for all of you that don't have HBO and are dying to see repeats of Insecure, and you have a Netflix account and you're not sharing it because you know you can't share passwords anymore, that's where you can check it out, right.
That's wow. Issa Rae continues to put her footprint in the market space. Wow. I wonder what the check is for
The check
that.
has got to be very, very large, I would imagine.
Let us hold something, Issa Rae. We
Maybe.
LA people, let's hold a little
bit.
something.
So last night I was talking about the Louis Vuitton fashion show where Pharrell made his debut. You know, there was a lot of people there. The Smith kids were there. Zendaya was there. Beyonce and Jay-Z were there. And, you know, there's always cameras around, paparazzi, people roaming around, right? And we know Beyonce is very, very careful as far as her image. Beyonce out in public, she doesn't move, she doesn't miss. You are not getting any footage, film, any of that unless Beyonce's people clear it. And please believe she'll send that bodyguard over there to, you know, handle things if you are out of line, right?
Right.
So there is a video that is circling from the show yesterday at a meeting. So earlier in the day, I guess a girl kind of, and I'm not sure if these two are correlated, but it happened shortly before this. A young lady kind of found her way into getting a selfie with Beyonce. It was moving. Wow. She didn't really do it. It wasn't a big deal. It was just snap in the area and go, right? But later, Beyonce, who never gets caught saying anything, is caught on video with Jay-Z saying that some girl that came near her was stank.
Wow.
Can we imagine Beyonce having that kind of conversation? But bigger than that, I mean, it's funny, we get that, but someone that is so careful about any bits of their personality, so to speak, in these later years getting out, how do you think it is that Beyonce has managed to kind of turn herself into just this performer where her art is the only thing that really speaks for her, or through photos, where so many others struggle with that?
I feel like, and maybe it's something from the book of Oprah. I remember years ago how Oprah would say she would stop autographing things and she wanted to really take control of her image and what she wanted out there. But for Beyonce to get caught slipping like that girl must have smelled really bad. Number one, that's the ultimate. But I'm surprised. I remember an award show, they even brought their own champagne because they weren't even drinking the champagne. I don't remember which one it was. And no glove, no fan, no nothing in front of the face. So
it was
I don't know. It was a moment. She had a moment.
And I should say that this is per lip readers reading what she had to say. So there's audio to the video, but there is not audio for saying that. But you know, the lip readers, they're pretty good. They did a pretty good job the other day on a couple of other things, so they might be right with this one.
The internet sleuths are undefeated.
The internet sleuths get the job done.
Yes.
Once again, if you have commentary on any of this, or you just want to chime in on something else, make sure you are hitting us up on all of our socials at KBLA 1580. You can follow me at Stiletto Jill. If you want to interact with Giandra, what is your social media?
Please follow me on all platforms. Just type in JeandraLebeauf. I know that was a lot, but that's okay. I'll type it in the chat. If you're watching on YouTube, I'll type it in the chat. And if you're watching on Twitter, say what's up and tag the show. RSVP with Jill Munroe.
Thank you. So, back to you a bit. So boxing, where did your love of boxing come from? Because we don't hear a lot of women talking about boxing, especially in this era currently.
It goes all the way back to being at home with my dad. I was a little tomboy, so my mom worked weekends, so I would be at home with my dad watching Wide World of Sports and the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, sitting there watching Sugar Ray Leonard, watching some of the old school guys mix it up. My dad was a huge boxing fan because a lot of boxers that day took a lot of political stances. He was very, very much into that, and he made it very clear there were going to be no cartoons being watched in that house until he watched his boxing. So right. I had to watch the boxing, and then I just grew to love it. It's an intense. It takes a different type of person to do that.
So what's it like being a woman in the world of boxing?
It has its pros and cons. There's always the unicorn thing because there aren't hardly any sisters that are working in the journalist capacity. There are publicists and people working in that capacity, but it has its pros in that fighters can feel comfortable telling you certain things depending on your approach, but then it's cons because I can't get away with some of the things that my male colleagues do, like camping out in the gym all day and hanging out and just being around all the time because there's a stigma no matter what anyone says that comes with it. But it's overall rewarding, and I appreciate the realness of the fighters and the people around it.
So how do you think you've managed to put your footprint, your stamp on being a boxing host, producer, and making sure that those trainers, those boxers, their promoters know who you are and respect you in that regard?
What it boils down to is when they come and see me, they know we are going to have some real conversations. Ultimately, I have the utmost respect for fighters, for the bravery that it takes anyone to get into the ring and be okay with standing opposite from another person and them beating you down. That's a different type of mental toughness. So because I respect that so greatly, they know I'm not going to ask them dumb questions. I want to know truly about them as a person. And I always like to humanize people too, because so much of boxing is so gotcha journalism and hit pieces and all these type of things. I want to know about the person who made that choice to make a living that way to support their family, because it is a tough road and it's not for everybody. So I respect that greatly.
So let me ask you, in saying that, you've come across a lot of fighters, right, at all different levels. Who do you think has the best work ethic?
Oh, there's so many. There's the great Bernard Hopkins, who's from Philadelphia, who went to jail for many years and then came out. He's a Muslim brother, doesn't drink, doesn't smoke. Even now at 52, 53 years old, I feel like Bernard could get in the ring right now and fight. There's, of course, Floyd Mayweather. He's doing his exhibitions. Floyd lives the life, whether you love him or hate him. Floyd lives the life, keeps his body tight. There's another fighter. He's retired now. He's on the desk for ESPN, Andre Ward. Committed deeply to the sport, his faith, keeping his body right. Sean Porter is another great fighter who lives by it. The great Sugar Ray Leonard. If you ever see Sugar Ray Leonard in person, it's incredible how good he looks. Is Sugar
Ray 60 yet?
Sugar Ray, I think, is in that age where Sugar Ray Leonard looks so good that I have to tell him that every time I see him. He tells me I need some more kids. That's how he stay young.
Okay. So that's his solution. That's how he keeps that youthful baby face going.
Those kids drive him crazy.
Listen, I guess. Shout out to Dante Rose. He gave us a summer list that is pretty nice. He said Anderson .Paak, Am I Wrong? Music Soul Child, Just Friends. Maxwell something. Love that one. That whole Urban Hang Suite album definitely qualifies to go on the summer list. WizKid, Essence, Rihanna, Work. He said those are the first 5 songs that came to his head. Well, you are off to a good playlist.
He is a great one. Shout out to him. He's a cool follower on Twitter. Everybody follow him. He's cool.
So anyway, let's get back into this world of boxing that you're in, right?
Okay.
So when you look at a fighter, right, do you consider more the matchup when you start making your predictions or looking at it, or do you consider their independent skill and what they've done thus far?
It's twofold. I'll look at their last 2 or 3 fights. Like, for instance, we'll take the big fight that just happened with Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia. Tank Davis is an assassin. He seeks and destroys, and he knocks people out. He's a fast finisher, but he's small in stature. Then you look at somebody like Ryan Garcia, very fast hands, very fit. He's another one that keeps his body in impeccable shape. You know, there can always be a size advantage, a reach advantage. All of those things can be negated when they negotiate, you know, weigh-in and rehydration clauses and things like that. But ultimately, there's a saying in boxing that a good small guy will beat a better big guy. And so it's part their skills and partially how they finished over their last 3 opponents, whether they have opponents in common, and their overall work ethic, like you alluded to, what they do outside of the gym. Because there's a theory that fighters who drink outside of the gym, they cut easily, and they bleed faster when they're cut in a fight. So all of those things matter.
Who's a fighter that surprised you, that you didn't expect to be as talented, or maybe not as talented, but just as successful as they have been?
Just in this most recent era, I will say Ryan Garcia, just because he's such a popular fighter. Oh, and there's a lot of good fighters, and I don't want people to kill me in the comments. What about this one? What about this one? Boots Ennis from Philly. He's a terrific fighter. The great Terrence Crawford, of course, who's going to be fighting. But Ryan Garcia in particular, because he's a model and he has all these things going on outside the ring. So I thought he was just, you know, another pretty boy face fighting in the ring. But he is skilled. You know, he lost decisively against Tank Garcia, but he definitely is competitive against the rest of their division.
Okay. I like that. So going back to your red carpet work for a second, we both, you know, are out there grinding on the carpet.
Yes.
What do you take from your boxing side and bring to your red carpet hosting and entertainment junkets and that reporting?
The boxing journalism makes me appreciate the realness of a person, because sometimes in entertainment everything is amazing because they're trained, they're actors, they're performers, and they have a project that they want to get off. Fighters, on the other hand, they're going to fight. They have an attitude, they haven't eaten, they haven't dieted down. So I try to bring that realness that I talk to them with over to the entertainment side, so maybe they can let down the guard. You don't have to be so amazing, you know. Maybe it sucked, you know, you never know. But I try to commingle that skill set on both sides of the spectrum.
Okay. So you utilize all your skills when you're dealing with that, both being very real but very honest, and you understand that some of those actors can be sensitive. So you take that into appreciation.
I mean, that's the thing. You can say what you would like to say, but say it respectfully. You can't just say, how come you didn't? You know, people think, why didn't you ask this? I want to challenge anyone to go with me on a carpet and see if they have the
gumption to do so.
To ask some of the things they ask us why we don't ask.
Well, when we come forward, we're going to talk more about that. We're also going to get into some new releases that are out, and we're going to talk to you about what you're watching. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Julius White. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Search efforts for the missing vessel used to explore the Titanic are intensifying. Retired Navy submarine Captain Brad McDonald says the less than 24 hours of oxygen remaining is not the issue.
It's more like this vessel is flooded and it's full of water, and that's the problem.
Crews have been searching for the submersible with 5 people on board since it was reported as overdue on Sunday. On Capitol Hill, the House is readying to vote to censure California Congressman Adam Schiff for his role in investigations of alleged collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia. Last week, 20 Republicans voted with Democrats to block the move, objecting to language that could have resulted in a $16 million fine for Schiff. The provision was removed and has now gained full GOP support. I'm Julius White on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
Nearly 3,000 teen drivers die in car crashes each year. Tire Rack Street Survival is designed to save lives. The one-day hands-on driving school gives teens experience in car control through exercises that include emergency braking and skid recovery. Find a class near you at TireRack.com/survive.
Follow the leader. KBLA Talk 1580. Follow the leader.
If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Got your black. Follow the leader. Oh my God. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
If you're a business owner or lead a nonprofit that's between 26 and 49 employees, please listen. Lendistry is proud to announce a new program whereby small businesses and nonprofits may qualify for reimbursement of COVID sick leave expenses incurred in 2021 or 2022.
This program is administered by the California Office of the Small Business Advocate.
Eligibility criteria apply and funding is limited. For more information, visit COVIDPaidSick.com. If you're a business owner or lead a nonprofit that has between 26 and 49 employees, please listen. Lendistry is proud to announce a new program whereby small businesses and nonprofits may qualify for reimbursement of COVID sick leave expenses incurred in 2021 or 2022.
This program is administered by the California Office of the Small Business Advocate.
For more information, visit COVIDPaidSick.com.
Mom's early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take. And when I left the Evan-On, we decided together that it was time to see a doctor and make a plan. Early detection gave us more time to seek out information and support as a family.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. For more information, visit alz.org/time-to-talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
As a dentist, I know what my patients are saying when they really can't speak. She says her gums have been bleeding. Is there anything you can do? Absolutely. You can try New Crest Gum Detoxify and Restore. Yup, New Crest Gum Detoxify and Restore is professionally designed to start healing gums from day one. Right. Healthy gums, healthy mouth.
Crest Gum Detoxify and Restore. Smile, Crest has you covered.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
The rent is too damn high. KBLA joins you in calling for affordable housing. The LA Tenants Union is a diverse, tenant-led movement fighting for the human right to housing for all. The LA Tenants Union demands safe, affordable housing and union rent control. They organize against landlord harassment, mass evictions, and displacement, and mobilize for the repeal of the Ellis Act and Costa-Hawkins Act. The LA Tenants Union is on a mission to strengthen tenants' political power through education, advocacy, and direct action. To get help with your eviction or other landlord-tenant issues, take action for justice, or become a member, visit latenantsunion.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
It is the first day of summer. Happy summer. You know, that means that the days are longer. You know, that means daylight until like 9 o'clock in some places.
Thank goodness.
I like that.
I do too.
You get more done. You feel more accomplished. And with Bobby, come on, we got to hit our Roger Rabbit one time real hard. Let's go, Andy. We got Andy doing it. Giandra, okay.
Put your hand in the air if you have the peachy folder with Bobby on the cover, with the album cover, with the, remember the peachy folders where it looked like an album at the top and it was the Don't Be Cruel cover?
I've never seen that.
Oh, I had that bad boy.
I'm going to tell you what, though. What I definitely was doing was having Bobby Brown and New Edition posters on my wall.
Oh, of course.
Hitting that Roger Rabbit. Because you think about, like, the 90s dances, there's a lot of shoulders with them and upper body arm movements and stuff, you know? And then you got legs. Yeah. Like the Cabbage Patch shoulders, the RoboCop shoulders, the WAP is your arm. So...
That's a good point. We give a lot of grief to the TikTokers about their kind of stiff movements, but now that you say that, I mean, that was kind of the early TikTok dances.
If you go through some of the eras and you look at the dance styles, you will see what is the through line through all of them, whatever we were focusing on the era. So this, I feel like it was shoulders and your whole body movement, like a lot of thrust.
Kill him with the shoulders.
Kill him with the shoulders. Kill him with the shoulders. Tony Yayo wants to know if you've interviewed Fulton. This is in the YouTube chat. He said his fight against Inoue, is that what it says? Inoue is coming up soon.
Oh, that is a fantastic fight. Another example of the best fighting the best. They're going to be fighting in Japan. The fight was originally scheduled to happen a couple of months ago, but Inoue got injured, and this is a defining fight for Fulton. He will become undisputed, if I'm not mistaken, with the win, but that is a fantastic fight. You'll probably have to get up in the middle of the night to watch it, but it is worth the watch for sure. They are lighter weight guys. They fight at... don't kill me, y'all. Super bantamweight. They're super bantamweights.
Okay.
And
so what is that, like 105 pounds or something like that?
Oh, no, not that small. They are like around in the 130-ish, 130-ish area. So not too small, but definitely not the big boys.
Okay, I see that.
122. Don't kill me.
122. Okay, 122. We're on point there. So Kamal, who is in the chat, said Public Enemy Fight the Power as a summer song. Now, while that may sound a little off, I actually can get with that. Do you want to know why?
Why?
Because it was featured on the Do the Right Thing soundtrack, which came out summer of 1989. Another summer. So...
don't step on anybody's Air Jordan sneakers.
Right. So I rock with that. That is a song that is definitely summertime swinging. So I appreciate that.
Shout out to him.
So getting back onto sort of the red carpet, celebrity, that type of beat, what is the most interesting project that you've had a chance to review, talk to the cast to, or deal with production over the past 6 to 8 months?
There's been some really, really good ones, and they're surprising. They're usually not the ones that I expect. There's a really, really popular show on Netflix. I never watched it before, but the audience is crazy. It's called Shadow and Bone. It's one of those mythical type of shows, and the people go crazy for them. I talked to the cast, and we had very limited time with them, and we had a huge group of like 6 actors in a room, but they're like, you have 5 minutes, go. It takes you a minute just to ask your question.
Right.
But so I just had them talk about each other. And with that, I learned so much about the show, and it continued the fandom. But the even better one that really sent me down is the one that Pedro Pascal is in, The Last of Us.
Okay.
Because I'm not a gamer, but that show was so good. I went back to YouTube and started watching people do the gameplay just so I could see how they matched up, what was original. So that in the last 6 months, that's probably the one that affected me the most. And, of course, Black Panther, Little Mermaid, all that stuff is cool. But The Last of Us, that show was crazy.
Okay, not your typical zombie show.
Not at all.
So I want to ask you kind of along those lines, because, this is where on RSVP we give them a little behind the scenes access. We go one layer deeper, and you are obviously everywhere where people want to be, where people need to be. I want to know what you're listening to, what you're watching, and if you're reading anything right now.
I am very, very get off my lawn with my music. So I don't listen to a lot of new stuff. I'm still trapped in the 90s. I'm still listening to Tribe Called Quest and The Roots and I don't listen to a whole lot of modern stuff unless it's something I have a young daughter. If she's playing it, I'll probably listen to it. In terms of reading, I haven't picked up I was sent a couple books recently, but that's so terrible. I haven't even cracked them open yet because I'm so busy consuming content for interviews. So I just need some downtime for my brain. And in terms of watching, I'm always watching sports. I have a hard time enjoying TV the regular way because I'm looking at it from the perspective that I might have to talk to these people at some point. So I'm looking at other nuances. It's hard for me to enjoy it as a fan, but I did get this little, I guess I could say something about the show. There's a show coming out calling The Horror of Dolores Roach. It's going to be on Amazon. It's based on a really popular kind of true crime podcast.
Okay.
It was so campy and weird and interesting. So I did like that. That was pretty cool. And that's about it on the recent tip that really, really affected me. I watched Dion Cole's Average Joe show. That was pretty cool. That was interesting and unique, different to see him in that.
So can you tell me a little bit about Average Joe?
So Dion is that he's a plumber or some type of a blue collar worker. I watched it a long time ago, and they stumble onto something that leads them in pursuit of, I don't want to spoil it too much. They're in pursuit. They could get something to enrich their lives, but there's a lot of pitfalls and things that happen along the way. So it was fun to see Dion Cole being he's not really a comedian in it. It's more of a serious type of thing. And I like when comedians start to tread that serious role. You get some different depth and dimension to them. So it's a pretty cool show. It's an easy watch.
Well, something else that comes out today actually on Disney Plus is part of the Marvel Universe. And we were just kind of talking about, it's something involving Samuel L. Jackson. But we were just kind of talking, has Samuel L. Jackson done regular TV before? Has he been in a series where week after week you can tune in and see Sam Jackson? I don't believe so.
I don't think so either. He's always been a film guy. I watched his masterclass when they were doing that masterclass series. It's really good. And he's all about his process. I think of the earliest thing with him with Coming to America. And, if you're Samuel Jackson, you're going to get your MFs in it. But he's very, very serious about his process.
So it's so interesting seeing over the past 4 or 5 years, all of these film actors suddenly become so involved in TV. But the show that is coming up, it is about Nick Fury. I've heard it described as sort of a Jason Bourne meets the MCU universe. So what are your thoughts on that?
I would too into that. Nick Fury's always a compelling character. You're never sure what's going to happen with him. I know there's going to be Skrulls involved and all of those things that we expect when we have a Nick Fury show. But to see him get his own thing, that's really, really cool. When we look at all the other characters that have had spinoff shows on Disney Plus, ones you wouldn't expect. So this should be pretty interesting.
I mean, and Nick Fury has been one of the few consistents in the MCU universe. I think like almost 20 years now. Yes. He's appeared in the most films, I believe, right? Like, I don't know the number.
He goes all the way back. The first one he was in was probably early 2000s, first Marvel film. Okay. But yeah, he is he's very smart with how he conducts his business. We're not going to see Samuel messing the bag up.
No, we are not. Well, when we come forward, we're going to talk some more TV and film releases with TV and film critic Giandra LaBeouf. We're going to talk a little bit more boxing about the Crawford versus Spence fight happening July 29th and get some of Giandra's predictions. All that and more. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Infusing a sense of fun and entertainment in every episode. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
Tina Turner's hometown to build a statue in her honor. Maisha Cairo here with your K-Black Minute News. On May 24, news spread of the death of the queen of rock and roll, Tina Turner, who died at 83 years old. Turner's representatives say she died of natural causes after long illness. The mayor of Tina's hometown has since revealed plans to build a statue in honor of Turner. Bill Rawls Jr., mayor of Brownsville, reveals his hope to have the sculpture placed in Heritage Park near the high school Tina attended as a teenager. She was born in the same town in 1939. Rest in peace to the queen of rock and roll, Tina Turner. I'm Maisha Cairo for KBLA Talk 1580, and that's your K-Black Minute News.
Did you know that all City of LA renters have rights? Check out these 3 facts. Residential tenants can't be evicted without reason or just cause. Eviction protection still exists for unpaid COVID-19 rental debt due before March 31st, 2023. And you have 5 days to respond to an eviction notice. 5 days. Many Angelinos may be at risk of losing their home, and that's why we want you to know your rights. Learn more at housing.lacity.org. Be informed, be protected, be at home.
Another exciting event hosted by Malik Books, Saturday, June 24th at 2 p.m., Westfield Culver City Mall. Next up, the newly published author Aisha Harris, co-host and critic for the hit NPR podcast, Pop Culture Happy Hour. Hot off the press, wannabe reckonings with pop culture that shapes me by Aisha Harris. Join us for discussion and book signing. Moderated by Erica Kendrick, Saturday, June 24th at 2 p.m., Malik Books at Westfield Culver City Mall. Wannabe is part memoir, part critical exercise. A blend of personal experiences growing up and consuming pop culture with a thoughtful examination of issues and conundrums audiences face every day. Interracial friendships, obsessive fandom, nostalgia, and intergenerational trauma. See you at the next book signing at Malik Books. That's MalikBooks.com again. MalikBooks.com.
Did you know addiction to drugs like meth or cocaine is a disease and not a choice? But getting help is. If you have stimulant use disorder, you, your family, and friends may have a lot of questions, including where to start. Choose Change California can help. Make a change today and find a proven treatment option for you at choosechangeca.org.
Hey, keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, it's Jill Munroe. You are listening to KBLA Talk 1580 RSVP with me, Jill Munroe, and my guest, film and TV critic, boxing host and producer, Giandra LaBeouf. We were just about to get into some more of your favorites. We were talking about a few new releases as far as TV and film, and also we are gearing up to hear your predictions, thoughts about the Spence versus Crawford fight taking place July 29th. That's in Vegas, right?
Yes, it is.
Vegas.
T-Mobile.
Head out there. And, Vegas is slowly but surely becoming the sports capital of the world. They're going to have an NBA team soon. They're going to have an MLB team out there. Do they have a soccer franchise yet?
Not yet. But they got hockey. They just won a Stanley Cup.
Right. And the Golden Knights have been good for a while. So, obviously the Aces, I think, were the first championship team in Vegas, right? The Las Vegas Aces, WNBA. They're out there balling. Shout out to Candace Parker, former LA Sparks.
Yes.
Always putting it in. So anyway, back to this hosting thing, TV and film. Okay. So what has been your favorite part about getting to experience all of these different projects, finding out how behind the scenes works and putting that together? What's your favorite thing?
Just pulling back the curtain and finding out like some of your most talented people are regular people. We always say everyone puts their pants on one leg at a time, but just when you really get to the real person and find out something quirky or interesting that they're into, it's so refreshing to find out maybe they like to garden like I do. I'm crazy about my garden, or they're super into their kids and their kids are polishing their nails, or just anything that is not so carefully curated. Those are just the little gems for me when I can find those things out.
The moment. So you get kind of unprecedented access to the boxers that you deal with, on that account. So what are, of course, that you can share? What is something surprising that you learned from getting to observe these guys, train, practice, go through that process? Because the process leading up to a fight is months. It's not like, your NBA game where you practice every day and you have a game every 2 or 3 days, or NFL where you have one game a week. This is months and months of training leading up to that, 10, 12, 13 rounds, depending upon the fight. So what have you learned about them that was surprising to you?
How sensitive they are. like truly sensitive, and it got me to thinking about the roots of why most people fight. It's not like NBA or even soccer. They say soccer is the most popular sport in the world. A lot of fighters got into fighting because they were bullied in their neighborhood. Maybe they were the smaller kid. Maybe their family was very poor, which is a lot of the case. It's really a sport that's born out of poverty. It is it's not a classist sport like, say, tennis, where you just have to have a race car driving, where you have to have all these means to participate. Even baseball.
Yeah.
If you really want to make it to the next level, you have to be part of these leagues and travel teams and all these things that go with it. But a lot of fighters, a lot of that is born out of somebody probably was picking on them when they were little. And that doesn't change very much as they become older. They get a tougher skin, but they remember when fans or reporters or journalists or talk shows say, oh, they didn't do this, they didn't do that in the fight. And they're very, very sensitive about their craft, and they have the right to be that way. But it just still was surprising, because you just think, oh, they're brutes and they're so tough and nothing bothers them. They're regular humans who have hearts and things too. So
has anyone ever approached you about something that you've written or said or talked about?
No, because I'm not crazy. So if I say something, it's going to be rooted in fact. And I just think you can convey what you want to say nicely. You don't have to say, oh, so-and-so is trash. You can say, well, in this matchup, maybe this wasn't the best matchup because of A, B, C, or D. But, a lot of people out there talk reckless about these fighters, knowing that they wouldn't get in the ring with them. And I'm not doing that because I'm not crazy.
I've had some NBA players snap off on me.
Really?
Yeah. This was some years ago. We won't get into who. Maybe another time. But I have definitely had that
RSVP
sort of
after
happen
dark.
to me. But it's okay, though. We survived. And they ended up coming to see it around my way.
Exactly.
But it definitely has happened. More than once, too.
Oh,
but,
wow.
Yeah, 2 separate players. It has happened. And 1 NFL player. But that's what it is. Yeah.
Wow. Excuse me. Wow.
Yeah, they were not in person. I should say, let me put that out there, not in person. They, took issue with something I wrote or something I said, and they hit me up on Twitter, and, we had a conversation.
Wow. Oh, yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any fighters. There's lots of women. Shout out to the women fighters, too. Shout out to Alicia Baumgardner, Clarissa Shields, Michaela Mayer.
Clarissa just won, right?
She did.
Yep. So.
She had a great fight. Alicia Baumgardner has a fight coming up. Undisputed Franchon Cruz DeZern. The women... I feel like the women are less sensitive than the men, ironically, because as women, we have to wear many hats, and there's no room for sensitivity in boxing when it comes to women fighters, because there's a lot of the, you should just be happy to be here attitude. So, but yeah. Interesting. Please don't pull up on me, fighters.
No. It was all good. Again, like I said, it was on social media. In face-to-face in person, it's never like that.
Never.
It's never like that. It's either they're going to avoid you or they're going to give you some love and be like, why you say that about me?
I know, but you just got to give them the auntie side hug. Like, I said it because of this. But, that's the pros of being a woman in the boxing space.
You think you can massage your way out of those situations?
Exactly.
Sometimes?
It's nothing personal. This just wasn't your best matchup.
I think, though, that constructive criticism, to your point, a conversation, if we are talking about... Now, I understand when we're talking about some of their social stuff. Mm-hmm. I can understand why maybe at times you're a little sensitive to that. But if we are strictly talking about your on-court performance, I think that you got to cut people some slack,
And also, there's the fact that, no one challenges you when they had a good game, when you said they played great.
Right.
So you know it then. But the minute you say, that wasn't the best, you don't know what you're talking about. You've never done this in your life. So the knife cuts both ways.
And, I understand you are right. The way that you see it, view it is totally different because you are living it moment to moment.
That's right.
But don't discount my experience because there is something to be said about observation and what we see over here. So,
absolutely.
Everybody has to give each other love.
Everybody.
It happens. So, Giandro, there is a film coming out on Friday, coming to Netflix, starring one of our favorites, well, at least one of my favorites. Won't speak for you. I'm not not for any other reason than I just don't want to speak for you because you're here and you can speak for yourself. Let me make that clear because that came out kind of awkward. I'm like, wait, I'm not saying it is not shade. I'm just saying I didn't want to speak for you. So Friday we have coming to Netflix, The Perfect Find. It stars Gabrielle Union, Keith Powers, Gina. Oh gosh, I just blanked on Gina's last name.
Torres,
right? Gina Torres. A couple others are in it. Have you seen it?
I have not seen The Perfect Find. I didn't do that press junket, but I did talk to Gabby Union before that because she's got her BT Journey of 50 special going on.
Exactly. We're going to be talking to the showrunner from that, Tiffany Mills, tomorrow night on this show. She's going to be coming in. So, yeah.
Oh, and I like this chapter for Gabby. She's doing a lot of cool projects and really broadening her skills. So with The Perfect Find, she's got something going on in the office with a little youngin, little tenderoni.
So what it is she and Gina were high school rivals, and Gabrielle's character meets this young guy, and she decides to, try it because she was in sort of a funk. Fast forward to she has this new job. She shows up at her new job. Her new boss is her old nemesis from high school.
Oh.
Fast forward to part 3 to the twist, and a coworker comes in, and oh, by the way, that coworker is the guy she hooked up with the other night. And oh, by the way, Gina Torres is his mother.
Oh my.
So there's a lot happening there. It's a comedy, like a rom-com. It's supposed to be really, really cute. It comes out on Friday, so I'm going to check it out. But tell me a little bit more about your interview with Gabby, because I find it interesting. She just turned 50 in October of last year, and so that's what prompted this special. But why do you like this era for her so much?
She just seems like she's in a good space, that she is embracing this age. She has her beautiful daughter there. Her and Dwayne are creating projects. She's creating her own projects. It's a refreshing thing to see a woman stepping fully into their, I don't know if potential is the right word, because she's been working for a long time, and just seem genuinely comfortable in the space and being okay with saying no. In this industry, you're made to feel like you can't say no to things, and she really just seems like she's navigating on her own terms, and I love that. It's very aspirational.
Okay. One time for Gabby.
Yes, get to it.
So Tony Yayo is loving your boxing conversation over here in the YouTube chat. So he has a question for you. Have you ever dealt with Charlos?
I have. The Charlos are very interesting. If shameless plug, go back to the old school interviews, the Ruckus and the best, what was it? Oh, not Best Women's Boxing Show. The old show. I used to do a podcast. Here's the thing. So we do the show now, but I did a podcast for many years. I had great co-hosts with me. I had a nighttime show called The Ruckus and a daytime one called The Morning Punchin' Show. Shout out to Michelle Rosado. And we used to have, the Charlos are interesting in that they're not the most gregarious people. They're very when you talk to them, they're focused athletes, they're great fighters, but I've never had a problem with them. They've always been friendly and respectful to me, and they're interesting. They're interesting, to say the least.
Okay, I like that. Well, when we come forward, we're going to talk more TV and film topics. Giandra, are you staying, or is this the last that we're going to see of you? Because if so, then you need to tell everybody where they can check you out and watch all your boxing interviews.
Oh, I'm going to sign out. So please, everyone, make sure that you are following the Best Women's Boxing Show, period, on YouTube. That's my show with my co-host Cynthia Conti, who is a reporter for Ring Magazine, the Bible of Boxing, been around for almost 100 years. So we co-host that show together. Subscribe to my personal YouTube channel, Giandra Was Here. So you can find it on that, formerly Bad Culture TV. And just follow me on all the platforms. If you type in my name, chances are you'll find me. I'm the only person on planet Earth with the name Giandra LaBeouf.
Okay. I like that. And before I let you go, really quick, explain your famous last name in 30 seconds or less.
My cousin Sabrina was on The Cosby Show for many, many years. She was Cliff and Claire's oldest daughter, who was married to Elvin, and she had the twins. And funny enough, she was never meant to be a comedic actress. She went to Yale, and she was a Shakespearean actress, and that's what she wanted to do. And then somehow she crossed paths with them, and the rest is history.
Entertainment is in the bloodlines. Thank you, Giandra LaBeouf. As always, I appreciate you. Giandra is going to come back and check us out on future episodes of RSVP with Jill Munroe. When we come forward, we will get into more of our trending topics. We also have a lifestyle question to ask you that involves pennies. So we'll talk about all of that when we come forward. KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Julius White. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Search efforts for the missing vessel used to explore the Titanic are intensifying. Retired Navy submarine Captain Brad McDonald says the less than 24 hours of oxygen remaining is not the issue.
It's more like this vessel is flooded and it's full of water, and that's the problem.
Crews have been searching for the submersible with 5 people on board since it was reported as overdue on Sunday. On Capitol Hill,